I'm really delighted to welcome today's guest, Jackie Crawford. I actually came across Jackie through a mutual friend, Ali Mortimer, and initially I was simply intrigued to learn more about decluttering my clothes cupboards and simplifying my wardrobe. But what I discovered was so much deeper than that. Jackie originally trained in interior design, which was immediately apparent when I visited her absolutely gorgeous home. She has such a natural eye for beauty, harmony and detail. And that talent has evolved beautifully into the work she now does, helping people feel confident, empowered and excited about the clothes they wear, the colours they choose, and ultimately how they feel within themselves. Since the pandemic, I have more or less lived in yoga clothes, and if I'm honest, I'd fallen into a bit of a rut with how I dressed. I'm sure I speak for many people here. Yes, I've heard that before. Okay. Working with Jackie was a wonderful experience because there was never any judgment, just warmth, wisdom, kindness, and an incredible ability to gently guide me into reviewing my own thoughts about style, confidence, and self-expression. I realised that this wasn't really about fashion in the superficial sense at all. It was about well-being, identity, and how we choose to show up in the world. I've been looking to reduce and refine my wardrobe as part of creating a simpler, calmer life, and working with Jackie has felt like a really powerful start. So, today we're going to explore confidence, colour, body shape, well-being, and how what we wear can genuinely influence how we feel. So welcome, Jackie. A very warm welcome to you.
What a beautiful introduction, Kay. Thank you so much for inviting me onto your podcast. I've got a very checkered history. My corporate career started, I'd been in a corporate career for about 34 years. Before I had the calling, and interior design was just a very small part of that. That was an interest of mine, but with a corporate career came its own dressing frustrations. I would face a wardrobe of black, grey, navy, and nothing much inspired, and something felt in my career at the time that I was being held back. So I took that further. I actually sought professional help to help me work out what worked for me. And of course, that support, I just hadn't appreciated the impact that would have. Major promotion for me as group HR manager was the result. And I never looked back. But that came to an end when I was 50. The company changed ownership, private equity came in, and that gave me an opportunity to take a gap year, and then I retrained in image consultancy, and I launched my empowering business, 9 years ago. That time has flown.
So, have you always had sort of quite a deep relationship with clothes and what you wear? Have you?
No, I came to it just at the time when I was sort of mid-career. And I think when we're younger women, we're more willing to adopt fashion trends because we don't want to stand out. And I think the same can happen, as we reach midlife as well. I think when I learned how to dress for my body shape and actually how I want it to feel, I call it dressing to our own beat, anything felt possible. And through my clothes, I felt that I was actually growing as a person as well.
I found it absolutely fascinating how you have completely redirected my self-image or my idea of what suited me in a very short space of time, actually.
We get stuck in a rut, don't we? Whatever our life stage, we're told various things. You can't wear this, you can't wear that. And you stick to what you know. for fear of standing out and trying something new.
Okay. So when you say your mission is to elevate and empower, what does that look like in real life for the people you work with?
Well, firstly and foremost, my key aim is to actually create that comfortable environment. And that helps settle my clients down. It helps us gain trust working together, because very often we're talking about very sensitive topics. We're talking about body confidence, body shapes. I'm actually seeing my clients in my dressing room try on, different clothes. And very often I'm meeting my clients for the very first time on my doorstep. So I have to create that instant sort of feeling of relaxation. And if I just dig a little bit deeper there, Kay, some of my clients have spent many, many years caring for others, and their needs have sort of fallen to the bottom of the pile. So my aim really is to raise self-esteem. And we do that through focusing on body positives. I see body language alter in the front of, in my mirror in the dressing room. When women see how a different shape can look, how a different trouser style can actually diminish a larger tummy, or a different sleeve style can actually have such an impact. It's the smallest tweaks very often that create these impacts and really elevates the way we feel about ourselves. And my guidance, helps to deliver confidence, I guess, through bespoke styling techniques, because we all have something about our bodies that we're not too fond of. And by learning how to actually address those elements, those techniques empower women to try something new. And I actually think that's really exciting.
Well, you've certainly empowered me to try some new things altogether. I mean, you have brought, not a large handful of clothes. You've brought a handful of clothes that on the peg, I wouldn't look at twice. And in fact, the little lace top that you brought, I saw it on the hanger and I thought, oh, I'd never wear that. I'll tell you now, I'd never wear that. And that's been fascinating for me. That has been fascinating. Yeah. And I bet you've seen transformations in clients that go beyond appearance. I mean, I felt different this morning in the clothes that you brought. But you also showed me ways of using the clothes that I have much more intelligently. So that my wardrobe now, as it stands, is going to be much more user-friendly. That one top that I've got with that one pair of trousers or whatever, or what I thought was a suit, could be separated and used in so many different ways. And that alone has sort of excited me. I've got excited.
Oh, that is wonderful. And the thing is, getting dressed every day is, when you think about this topsy-turvy world we live in, getting dressed every day is one of the very few things that we can control. And I feel that it's a lovely ritual that can bring us a lot of joy. So actually, isn't it nice to face a wardrobe of clothes that feel, really very connected to us, and identifying, those elements, because personal styling and the success of personal styling, it is sort of as a result of finding clothes that resonate with us, and just seeing a chink of that romantic element in you when we first met. I thought, aha, I think a little bit of lace might look really fabulous on Kay. But I digress. You asked me, first of all, if I'd seen any transformations in clients. And that actually is a great question, because yes, all the time. I get front row seats to some of my clients, some of the most amazing, happy occasions in their lives. new partners. It could be women who've sadly lost a partner and then many years later back on the dating scene. Maybe senior roles have become easier for them to achieve because they're actually dressing in a slightly different way. Maybe women more confident to enjoy a boudoir photo shoot, and I've had that a number of times, and I find that absolutely staggeringly good, that through our clothes we can actually find the confidence to do something like that. And I think on the whole, women wanting to feel proud about their bodies and wanting actually to be visible and to be seen.
Well, I hear you. Why do so many of us struggle with confidence when it comes to getting dressed, do you think?
And another great question. I think, midlife has an awful lot to do with that. We're dealing with a myriad of changes to our bodies, changes to our roles as well, and maybe our circumstances, and everything descends all at once, including body shape changes. And that can lead to confusion because we've been used to dressing a certain body shape, and all of a sudden we've lost a waist definition, or something has changed that we kind of just haven't accounted for. And we ask the question, do we continue to wear what we've always worn? Do we copy a style icon? Or actually, and I'll pose this to your listeners, is it best to really define what we love in our wardrobes, and actually by finding that thing that resonates, in the way that we found that lovely lace top to resonate with you. I think that's a really powerful thing.
Yeah, no, I certainly, found it. And I think that, I asked myself about style confidence. I think every now and again I've gone out and worn something and I thought, I feel good in this. But not often enough. Not often enough. And I think, the idea of elevating a pair of jeans, whether we go back to the lace top or or the jacket that you put with it that I would have never thought putting with it, but there's in my cupboard, gathering dust. All of those things have now sort of generated a new energy for me.
Energy is really important. And what I should say is that when you work with a personal stylist or an image consultant such as myself, it's not about starting from scratch. It's not about spending a lot of money. I am really in favour of sustainable practices. So creating a wardrobe that actually works for us from what we already have is more attainable, more achievable for all of us without actually having to shell out more money. The planet can't take it anymore. Let's use, as you said, intelligently what we already have and just pair it in a different way. And that can, of course, bring a joy of its own, can't it?
I've witnessed it. I felt it this morning. And also, it's refreshing not to be sold to something.
Exactly. Shop your own wardrobe. There's a thought.
No, and it's also fun. It's just, I wouldn't know where to begin. I tell you what particularly fascinated me this morning, and that was when you were taking all the measurements. So you weren't interested in my waist size, my bust size, my hip size per se. You were interested in my height, the difference between my shoulder to my waist.
Yes.
My waist to my hip, my waist to the top of my leg.
Yes.
And just explain to all the listeners about, because I found this so interesting, the three levels.
Yeah, it's all about proportion. Many of us wear something off the shelf. We might wear a jacket and a pair of trousers. But actually, for our height and for the proportion, for example, from our shoulder to our hip, is not. It's not a normal. It might not be as the manufacturers, suggest. So, many of our clothes are manufactured to a standard size, and we all know that we are very, very different sizes. So when we actually carve our body up into sections, we can actually understand where to place the emphasis, where to stop the hemlines, where to stop a jacket, because we don't want a jacket, for example, falling on the widest point of your hip. We want that to fall higher or slightly lower. If we had larger knees, we don't want our hemlines to fall, at that point. So the rule of thirds comes into, really successful styling techniques. And it's a game changer.
It is.
Isn't it? When you see that actually just tucking in a shirt, tucking in a t-shirt, rather than letting the hem just fall at its normal length. It's a game changer. It looks different, and the proportion helps, make a body look a little bit more interesting.
Yes. Well, yeah, it's a revelation. So for anyone who feels stuck in a style, where should they begin?
Oh, now that's a really good one. Stuck in a style.
I don't know that I was particularly stuck in a style. My aim was to really simplify what I had, so that I wasn't using, the 80-20 rule, 20% of my wardrobe all the time and storing the other 80% for some day that I might take out that one dress that I hadn't worn in a long time.
Absolutely. Very often we reach for the same 20% of our wardrobe 80% of the time. So I guess my advice there is, rather than get stuck in a rut, is shake it up a bit. And don't be afraid to try new styles, as you were obviously doing this morning. Release those clothes that no longer fit you, or align with your lifestyle. I've worked with so many clients who had successful corporate careers. They've still got the suits because perhaps they spent quite a lot of money on those pieces. Actually, you might not need to discard the whole suit. You could actually wear the blazer with a pair of jeans, with a cut-off trouser, with a t-shirt and a pair of loafers. And then that gives, a whole different feel to that item. So for anyone stuck in a style rut, I think, shake it up just a little bit. Don't be afraid to try new things.
If these podcasts have touched you in any way and you'd like to support what I'm doing, you can do so through the Buy Me a Coffee link. Whether it's one coffee or a few, your kindness helps me to keep creating and offering these sessions freely. Every bit of support means so much, so thank you truly from my heart. I felt dressed this morning when you took me through, why don't you put that jacket with those trousers? Why don't you try this with this? Why don't you try? And when I saw it on, I just thought, oh my word. God. And I felt myself standing a bit straighter.
Yes, and I hear that a lot.
I'm sure. And what I thought was the best style of dressing for my body shape has been blown out of the water.
But you've got plenty of pieces to actually support that new knowledge now, haven't you?
I have, luckily. The other aspect of what you do, and I did wonder about it, because when I got in touch with you, it was, let's simplify what I've got in my wardrobe. Let's dumb down and let's try and use things, as I say, more intelligently. And you wanted to take me through my colours. And I thought, well, I think I know my colours, but and you said, well, it's a really important part of understanding what works for you.
Absolutely.
And I found it extraordinary. There are colours in my muted colour swatches that you've gifted me very kindly that I wouldn't look at twice.
Mm-hmm.
But when I've seen those colours on me versus the colours that I have safely worn, let's just say black, and I see the difference, how the black drains the colour out of my face because it's too heavy for me, and that muted brown absolutely lifts me. It's a very useful indication for moving forward. So I picked out some things this morning to put into charity, and I was thinking about this. You went, yes. And I was thinking about, yes, you don't need that colour. So the two do go together. They do marry because you're only working with half a jigsaw otherwise.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, colour is certainly the service that I would suggest people took straight away. Because actually then we have some knowledge about the colours that are more flattering before we actually go and spend any more money in our wardrobes. And very often we already have some of those colours in our wardrobe. But, colour analysis is the magical way colours interact with one another, and the assessment is very thorough. Uses our natural hair colour, our eye colour and our skin tone to determine which are the most flattering colours for us to wear. And let's say our hair changes colour naturally, that seems like a really good time just to get that assessed, actually, because our skin tone changes slightly as well.
Yeah, I don't think we notice the changes, do they? I mean, they are gradual.
They can be gradual, and when we might have worn very, very bright colours and our hair colour changes colour naturally, we can sometimes see that actually the colours aren't working quite as well as they might. And there is a comfort to wearing colours that really flatter us.
Yeah.
Rather than sort of standing out.
We were chatting earlier on, you and I, about AI. And how, people are using it for all sorts of things. And I've seen lots of things on Instagram about what you should wear. And there have been things like, if you're a mother, they're trying to put you in, or a huntress or whatever, into these are the clothes for you to wear. But we'd only be looking at those sort of things without the intricate detail that you put into helping me get my clothes right. So we wouldn't be putting in the ratios of our bodies. We wouldn't be putting in whether we have knobbly knees or fat knees. We would be putting in what we think. And I found out this morning that bits of what I think are fine and okay and reasonable, like somehow or other, most of my clothes seem to be of the length that does work according to your wonderful mathematics. But some of the ways you dress me, I would have never dressed myself, and I would stick that in AI. This is what suits me. So that's where that it's not just what you say, it's what you've measured, it's what you've worked out. It's the fine tuning that makes the difference.
Absolutely. And I think AI, certainly has its place. But in terms of personal styling, am I worried that AI is going to take away my role? No, absolutely not. I think there is a more personal service, a more intimate and precise way of styling our bodies. And I think that the in-person option is it allows for us to address nuances, for example, and body language. I could clearly see this morning there were certain elements that you were trying on, and I could actually see you standing taller in front of the mirror.
I felt it.
AI misses all of these, and working online, again, has its place, but there is nothing like, standing beside someone and feeling, their emotion and feeling how they feel.
And I think that's the other thing. I didn't feel at all judged. I didn't feel at all uncomfortable. And I think I have tended to dress for the way I think I should be. And you've taught me to dress in a way that reflects who I am.
Absolutely. I
think that's that's quite a different thing that I didn't expect to get out of it.
I think style confidence and sort of practical know-how works in very interesting ways. When they work, it works better when it's combined. Basically, we can have all the styling tips in the world, but if we tell ourselves that we're too old, we're too slim, we're too skinny, we're too fat or too curvy, we're kind of stuck in self-criticism, aren't we? And we're always going to stand in front of our wardrobe, feeling a total disconnect. But, equally, confidence alone can take a wobble if we don't know the shapes, we don't know the colours, we don't know the styles that are going to work better for us.
It's like having a roadmap, isn't it?
It is, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, helping you keep on track.
Yeah, and to understand where you're going with it.
Absolutely.
So you've recently revamped your York studio, and very beautiful it is very lovely. And we were talking a little bit earlier about how you did virtual services really during the pandemic because you couldn't do that. So how does that experience differ? I mean, do you offer virtual now, or is it if it's a necessity or?
I do, and of course, working virtually during lockdown was a necessity. I found it worked, very well for personal styling and actually wardrobe editing. I had a client in Norway at the time, and working through her wardrobe because we had so much time, worked incredibly well virtually. But for the reasons we've said, I much prefer that in-person consultation now. I'm still happy to work with clients I've already met overseas. I have clients in Sweden, Norway, Italy, Spain, and the States. So I work with them on an annual basis, just sort of giving them some wardrobe updates and, helping them add to their existing wardrobe.
Interesting. So are they all very different in their style approaches?
Very different, very different. And of course, we all have different budgets, we all have different environments,
Different
climates, absolutely, to work towards. So, I'm sort of a little pocket AI, if you like. But
then you are.
yes, exactly. But with a little more compassion.
And do you think our clothing choices can be a form of self-care?
Or without a doubt, definitely 100%. I think dressing each morning, as we said earlier, is one of the very few things that we can control. So taking that time to prepare for our day is a really lovely ritual, taking a shower, giving ourselves a hair treatment, a swipe of lipstick, all serve to provide that positive start to the day. And if we're not feeling great about ourselves, it's actually a form of a positive affirmation of saying, do you know what, I am worth it.
Yeah, of course. Well, we are. And do you think our sense of style affects how we show up in our relationships or our work?
I most certainly do. I think dressing well has always got to be a good idea, not necessarily for others in the first instance, but to value our own self-worth. The way we dress is a powerful tool for both self-expression and for the way that we communicate. Dressing well enhances our credibility and professionalism. It goes way beyond vanity, which you've obviously touched upon this morning. Social media and all of our virtual communication methods now, our virtual platforms, keep us visible. And our outfit choices very much determine how others perceive us as well, both socially and professionally.
There's a connection between authenticity and personal style.
Yes, there is. Gosh, you've got some good questions for me. I'm having to work today. Yeah, very much. I think the connection here lies in using personal appearance as a deliberate and honest expression of our inner self, rather than a curated image that we just want to use to impress others. Authentic style requires us to move away from trends, from social pressure, and actually to trust our own style compass, and as I said earlier, dress to our own beat.
Yeah, I like that expression. So what would you say to someone who feels invisible or unsure of themselves right now?
Well, stay positive. Don't get too disheartened, because the way that can happen, that disconnect, which I'd mentioned earlier, it can happen when our clothing no longer aligns with our current lifestyle. And, for example, the ladies I've worked with that have, a wardrobe of business suits, and actually they're retired. They no longer work in that lifestyle anymore. So, that disconnect is going to happen when it doesn't align with current lifestyle or our body shape in the changes that we've already discussed. It's a total sign of disconnection. It's not necessarily a lack of taste or, a lack of style. So I would encourage everyone to sort of audit their wardrobe, try everything on, identify the nose. So as we've done this morning, we've got a little hike to go to the charity shop, but identify what's left. And actually, you might find some patties in there. Are you going to find lots of lace? Are you going to find lots of soft fabrics? Are you going to find lots of linen? Are you going to find lots of patterned clothes or very asymmetrical tops? There are clues. You're going to find clues when you edit your wardrobe.
But also it's quite refreshing. So, for instance, the jeans you bought for me to wear this morning, M&S. I mean, you're not trying to just go far. Very, I don't know, top brand. Not that M&S is, but it's very affordable.
Absolutely. And it illustrates the point that all of my clients have a very different budget. So I will always start with something middle of the road, and then it's up to them whether they, follow, Marks and Spencer's. Depends on the fit. If it's a great fit, why not? But I am really a great advocate for buying better in the first place rather than fast fashion. We've done it for far too long. Buying better, buying well serves us for much longer. And it's kinder to the planet, and that actually it's better for our pockets.
So where people become a bit more conscious as well of waste, haven't they?
We have, yes, absolutely, in every area of our lives.
Yeah. So if you could give anyone listening a piece of advice to take away today, what would it be?
That has to be wear what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And I think the best example I can give is that I love to see women rocking a bohemian look, that whole bohemian vibe with linen. I love to see it. I have tried it myself and I became a shadow of my former self. I don't feel comfortable in creased clothes. So it's finding those clothes that resonate with you, that feel good. And for me, a thrill, a ruffle, a bow. fills me with confidence.
Well, you look amazing.
Oh, that was very calm. Thank you. Huh?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be very good if you didn't, I suppose. It wouldn't. Yeah, and I suppose you've answered my next question in a way. What does feeling your best truly mean to you? Because you've answered it by saying what you are attracted by doesn't work on you. Just finding what works on.
Absolutely. It's that resonance and that, the resonance in finding those key pieces that work for you is the game changer. And anyone who works with me absolutely understands that this isn't going to happen overnight. This is a very gradual journey.
Yeah.
But, just the smallest of tweaks can have such a major influence on the way we feel about ourselves. So the way that our clothes make us feel should not be underestimated.
No. No, I can see where it was as we were chatting earlier on, wasn't it? I can see that what you do is so multifaceted because it's not just a superficial outer garmenting, as it were. It's how the psychology of clothes can really affect how you turn up in the world. It must be a very joyful job to do. Do you get lots of lovely feedback from people?
I get lots of lovely feedback. And when people ask me what I do, I have a very close relationship with a lot of the retail stores, a lot of the independents in York, and they all say, "Oh, what a lovely job you must have." And it really is. And, as I said earlier, I get front row seats to meeting the most amazing women in all walks of life, at all stages of life. And it really is a great privilege for me. Sometimes when I have a client who can't face herself in the mirror when I first meet her because she has body confidence issues or body dysmorphia, that makes me really sad. So it's my job to raise that self-esteem. So do I love my job? Absolutely. Is it always easy? No, it's not.
No.
But I think it's what I've been put on this earth to do.
I'm sure it is. Do you find people get very emotional at times when you go through this process?
Yes, very much so, because any kind of positive change does take some effort, doesn't it? Whether that's financial investment or investment in yourself. And very often the women I work with have let themselves fall to the back of the pile. They've been caring for others and they've forgotten how to connect with themselves. So there is an emotional, it is an emotional journey for many, actually, when they see, how different shapes, how different colours actually look on them and how they make them feel.
Yes. Well, I felt that this morning.
It's powerful, isn't it?
It's very powerful. I've been a little bit blown away.
Blown away is good, but blown away in a good way.
Yes, blown away in the right way.
Absolutely. We can always learn something new. And I think, midlife is not a time to be invisible. We've got a wealth of experience to share and many, many, many years left in us. So actually, let's enjoy that and let's tell the world a little bit more about who we are in what we wear.
Yeah. So since you've been doing this, have you changed what you wear a lot?
Yes, I have, I suppose. I've become more confident in what I wear, and I always say to my clients, these are guidelines, not tram lines.
Yeah.
And I think when you know the rules, you know how you can sort of bend them a little bit. And I do like bending my own rules from time to time, and that feels very exciting. Yes, it does.
So what brings you a sense of confidence and well-being in daily life then?
Oh, I think it's that confidence in my own skin.
Yeah.
We've all got body hang-ups, but actually, it's so not important. It's a mix, isn't it, of physical feeling. It's the mental. It's the social habits that we surround ourselves with that trigger, how we feel. I'm very grateful to enjoy a healthy body. I like to exercise. I like fueling my body with good food. Time in nature is very important to me. I like to give back. Acts of kindness. I love music, and I love the community that has sort of developed around me, and that's very, very important
No,
to me. Yeah.
I totally agree.
And of course, the dopamine effect of wearing something I love.
Yeah.
I've got to say that, and sigh. There is that.
I have to say, it's always interesting because I do undram, and when we have to source our own costumes to a degree, but we are also helped and assisted because fellow drama groups will lend some of theirs, and you have a part that you're playing, and it always gets another layer, you come out more deeply into the character when you do the dress rehearsal or when you are wearing the clothes you're wearing, because those clothes definitely affect how you portray that character. So I suppose in many ways it's common sense that what you wear in your daily life is a reflection much more of who you are. I mean, in many ways, you're sort of the Gok Wan of the north of England, but
Absolutely. Yes, I am. I'd like to think that I am very much so. It's a very empowering role that I have. Shining a light on women's body positives is a real joy. And literally, there's one thing that happens very regularly is that ladies will say to me, "I no longer have a waist." And I literally hoik up their bra straps,
as you did with me.
as I did with you. and they look and go, "Oh my God, my waist has been disappeared for all of these years, and their shape changes." So, ladies, just take a look at your bra strap and give it a little tweak in the straps, and you may find that you discover a waist you'd forgotten you had.
So where can people find you, Jackie?
Oh, I'm all over. I've got my own website, www.jackiecrawford.co.uk. I'm also on all of the social channels, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I have an email, which is image@jackiecrawford.co.uk.
Perfect. Well, all of this information will go in the notes. You have been an absolute joy to meet. I thank you for all that you've gifted me today, and with the colour, finding out my colours, my muted colours. Well, I thought I was going to be really bright. There we are. I've loved the whole experience. It's been an incredibly playful and wonderful time. And I bless you for your kind eyes as well.
I'm so delighted to have met you, Kay, and very delighted to have chatted with you today, and your community. Yes, it's been a joy. Thank you so much.
Well, life puts together those that need to be together.
Yeah, I love that.
And so as we come to the end of today's conversation, I hope what shines through is that this isn't really about chasing trends or trying to become someone else. It's about rediscovering yourself. Perhaps even returning to parts of yourself that have been quietly waiting underneath busy lives, changing bodies, loss, motherhood, work, caring for others, or simply getting stuck in habits and routines. Talking with Jackie has reminded me that what we wear can be an act of self-respect, creativity, and well-being. But choosing colours, shapes, and clothes that truly reflect who we are can subtly change the way we move through the world, helping us feel more confident, more comfortable, and more ourselves. For me personally, this journey began with simply wanting to declutter my wardrobe and simplify my life a little. But it has become something much more meaningful. It's been a gentle reassessment of how I want to live, feel and show up in the next chapter of life. Thank you so much, Jackie, for sharing your warmth, wisdom and expertise with all of us today. And to everyone listening, perhaps this is your invitation, not to completely reinvent yourself, but simply to refine, reconnect, and allow yourself to feel good in your own skin. You can find out more about Jackie's work, both in her beautiful York studio and through her virtual consultations at jackiecrawford.co.uk. And the other ways of getting in touch with her or watching her social media posts will be in the notes below. In the meantime, I intend to show up in the world visibly. Bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Kay.